Now, the second unit which we are going to discuss is about federalism. Before discussing about the unit, let us recall in the previous unit, what did we discuss about? So, we have discussed about the issues which happened in Belgium and in Sri Lanka. In Belgium, we have seen the three different language spoken people accommodating themselves and framing the constitution through the accommodation policy, where they have changed the existing constitution, amended it for 4 times nearly to get the equal representation and equal satisfaction for all the people, like for the Dutch spoken people, French spoken people, and even the German language spoken people also. Now, here we have seen the central government and the respective state governments have shared certain powers. So, let us remember here they have the division of powers at various levels of the government. Now, when we discuss about Sri Lanka, in Sri Lanka, what happened actually was, we all know that we have the system going on in Sri Lanka is the majoritarian. So, repeat, in Sri Lanka, we have the majoritarianism system of democracy, which means like in Sri Lanka, we have the Sinhala language spoken people accommodating nearly 74% of the population, and the Tamilians are nearly 18%. So, Sri Lanka has adopted the system of the opinion of the majority has to be taken as a priority basis, and they started to claim that Buddhism to be the state religion, and also giving special importance for the Sinhala community people, where the opportunities are being reserved for Sinhala community people. This has brought injustice for the Tamilians. In this way, here the leaders of the Sri Lankan constitution or the framers did not agree to have the division of the power. So, in the Belgium scene or in the Belgium scenario, we have the people accommodating themselves even though they don't belong to the same religion or the same language based. They even belong to 3 different language groups or communities. They have accepted each other's equal status and they have agreed for the division of the power, and here they did not agree, which led to a civil war. Now, the sharing of the power between the 2 levels of the governments is known as a federal setup. So, the word federal means an agreement. The word federal means an agreement. In this agreement, you have that should be a written agreement, and this word federal is being derived from the word called fideus. Fideus is a Latin word meaning an agreement, a mutual agreement. So, the mutual agreement between 2 governing bodies, it may be the state level, it may be at the local level, or it may be at the national level. So, the agreement between any 2 governments is known as a federal government, or any 2 exercising power bodies are known as federal setup. So, we generally have in most of the countries in the world the federal structure. So, the federal setup has certain features. First feature is that they need to have at least 2 levels of governments where we can share the power between themselves through a mutual concern and a written agreement, that is known as the federal setup. So, as we have established what is a prime phase of federalism, now the federalism is nothing but the sharing, or it would be appropriate to use the word called distribution of powers between the union and state levels of governments. Now, when we discuss about federalism, we are trying to establish what is the actual meaning of federalism. We have just now understood like it is derived from a Latin word meaning a mutual agreement, a written agreement between the two parties where the power has been distributed or shared between two levels of governments. Let us take in India, we have the sharing of power between union and the states. Then we may get a general doubt. How can the power be shared like this? Or what are the criteria to share the power between two levels of governments? Now let us take an example of India where India has a sharing of power. India has a federal structure set up in the government form. So now in the union, we as a union government looks after the subjects like the which are falling under the category of national interest. Let us take foreign policy of a nation. So the union government looks after towards the national interest, the subjects falling like foreign policy. Then we have the defense. Then we have the banking sector. Then we move on to the currency of a nation. Now, when we discuss about the national interest subjects, like it is a whole and sole responsibility of the entire nation's interest at the cost of the administration. So, the union government takes the issues which are at the national interest to take care of them and to represent the nation in the international community to address the issues. So, all these things are managed and looked after by the union government or the central government. So then, what are the subjects that are dealt by the state governments? So when we discuss about the state governments, which are having the local importance, the subjects which are having the local importance of that particular state, let us take the subjects which are coming under the state's purview or the state's interest are, let us take the police department, which looks after all the issues of the police, like giving security for the personals, looking after security for the common man in that particular state. And then we can discuss about the forests, when we also can discuss about the issues which are concerned to the local concerns of that particular state. And we also can categorize them, the union subjects, we have the postal system. In the same way, which are coming under the interest of the state, we also have the educational policies of the state.